Welcome back to Steps Gaming. Today is an important birthday. It's the 36th birthday of the Sega Genesis. It was released in the United States on August 14th, 1989. A long time ago. And yesterday I got something in the mail. It would have been better if it came today. It would have been iconic, right? But I got a Sega Genesis original Model 1, you know, with the high definition graphics and everything. And you can see this is in pretty good shape. It's just dirty. Just dirty. Pretty good shape for a console. I'm looking at the sides, you know. Everything looks to be pretty good. Pretty good. Does it work? Yeah, it works. It definitely works. I've been playing some games on it already, but it just needs cleaned up, so I definitely need to clean this up. But yeah, this was the guy. This was it. I had one. I had one before Sonic the Hedgehog. I had the first. This is the first one. I bought this $27 off eBay with no cords, nothing. It said tested, works, and then in the fine print it goes, it worked the last time I turned it on. And it had no cable, so I'm like, okay, maybe he turned it on 20 years ago. Who the hell knows? This is a risk, but for $27, you know, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll figure it out. But you know, back then there was no Sonic the Hedgehog. It came with Altered Beast.
Rise from your grave.
And that's a game I got. And of course, I played Altered Beast because there wasn't too many games when I first got it. Because, you know, it's a lot of money for a little kid. I would have still been in elementary school when this came out. And I know I earned it. You know, I earned money, and I went to Target and I bought a Sega Genesis. And you know, it was different. It was a lot different because this was really the first mainstream 16-bit console. Now, of course, we had the TurboGrafx as well around the same time, but it didn't sell as well. I only knew one or two people at school that had one. Sega Genesis, when I first got this, nobody else had it really, because everybody still had a Nintendo. Super Nintendo was a little bit ways off, and I was reading Electronic Gaming Monthly, and Electronic Gaming Monthly you know, covered everything, and they were really hyping up the Genesis at the time. And I had no idea what I was getting, but like, I just knew Electronic Gaming Monthly said the Genesis is 16-bit and the Nintendo is 8-bit, and I was like, wait a second, the Sega Genesis is twice as powerful as the Nintendo. I must have it.
16-bit arcade graphics. 16-bit arcade action.
I must have a Sega Genesis. You know, I wanted a Master System back in the day, but I didn't think that was something my parents would understand, you know, because I was even smaller then. So as soon as I was old enough and they had a new Sega, I'm like, I must get the Sega Genesis. And man, lots of memories on the Sega Genesis. Definitely the Altered Beast, Shadow Dancer.
Stokes, president of HAG.
I'm here to warn you about Sega Genesis. Now, I've got nothing against fun, but these Genesis people really curdle my shower cap. They say it's incredibly challenging. Well, who are they to challenge our kids? They call it 16-bit arcade quality graphics. 16 bits of what? And do you need stereo sound? No! You want a real hoot? Try sculpting in gelatin. Florida!
Genesis, from Sega, leading the 16-bit revolution.
I think that game came out in 1990, still well before Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was a Shinobi game. And that was the newest Shinobi game at the time. I probably should have got Revenge of Shinobi, but, you know, I didn't know any better. I was a kid, you know, and I was just like, okay, next one, go with the new one. You know, those are some of the early games I got. I think I had James Bond. That game was terrible. Terrible. All the sports games. you know, Mortal Kombat, the fighting games, all that. But you know, I wish I would have played some other games than I did. But at the time, you play what you know, or what your friends are interested in, things like that. But you know, when I first got it, had no knowledge, nothing. We had Altered Beast and Shadow Dancer. I remember that. That's what I got. That's what I got. And it was like, it was probably the year after it came out, or like 6 months after it came out. It was 1990 at some point, but it came out in '89. And I know I didn't get an '89 because I just started at a new school because my parents moved, and so it would have been late or mid '90. Yeah, it was mid '90. Less than a year that it had been out, and yeah, there was no Sonic the Hedgehog. There was no get Sonic the Hedgehog for free later coupon like some people had. This was Altered Beast and Shinobi. And you know, I mean, there was other stuff like I think maybe Golden Axe or something. I don't know exactly, but those were the games I had. And you know, it was just, you know, you'd rent games when they started being able to rent Sega Genesis games, which wasn't necessarily true right away where I was at. And definitely, you know, man, so good. And Electronic Gaming Monthly, the reason I bring that up is because it fits in with today. It fits in with getting the Sega Genesis. It fits in with you know, me having read Electronic Gaming Monthly and looking forward to that issue every single month. I ended up with a subscription and reading it all, and because they're in the last day of their Electronic Gaming Monthly Compendium book.
We're honoring this unparalleled collection of gaming history with a new project, the EGM Compendium. This limited edition hardcover book chronicles a quarter century of video games, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as seen through the pages of the #1 gaming magazine. Untold stories, unreleased games, and an unbelievable list of contributors. It's a journey across video game history like nothing you've ever seen.
Kickstarter, it is still up till the 15th, so Friday the 15th is the last day to do that. And I'll put a link in the description if you're watching this video before then and you want to back this project. You need to do it now. But they're working on a book. It's going to be $60 for just the book if you kickstart just the book. I think it's $90 or so. Maybe it's definitely less than 100. And it includes multiple things, including not only the book, but digital copies of every single Electronic Gaming Monthly officially. And some other cool pieces, like I think you get a physical copy of the last issue of EGM ever that was never released. They're going to print that. They've met all their fundraising goals for the Kickstarter, so that is good. You're getting everything that they said they were stretch goals that you're getting. So I am going to back that project. That magazine was critical. That was oh man, I love EGM. And I've said this on my channel before, but Electronic Gaming Monthly was like my almost like exclusive magazine. I occasionally picked up a Game Pro at the store if I wanted to read something a little bit different. I didn't do Nintendo Power too much because I had a Sega Genesis, and eventually I got a Super Nintendo, and that's a whole nother story. But like I was never just a Super Nintendo person, and I didn't really have any magazines when I just had the Nintendo. You know, when I was a little bit younger. So yeah, Electronic Gaming Monthly. That was it. If you wanted to know everything about video games, you got your news from Electronic Gaming Monthly. And this is not the last time I'm going to talk about Electronic Gaming Monthly, but I definitely, if you have memories of Electronic Gaming Monthly, I really recommend that you back this project right now before you forget. So, you know, you only got one day, so you better just do it. And, you know, so you could have those memories and see all those awesome things and remember all those awesome times you had with that magazine. I just remember, like, at night, you're like, oh, what's coming out? And then you would read it again and again and again, and you look at the ads and look at the games and imagine how they play. Like, Electronic Gaming Monthly was it. And, one for Electronic Gaming Monthly, you know. I may never have had my Sega Genesis experiences, and my first Sega Genesis died. It just died. It didn't power anymore, and I didn't have any games at the time, I think. I had the console. I might have had one game. I don't remember what it was, you know, but I didn't have much. And I ended up recycling it because, like, it just didn't power, and I should have kept it. Because I probably could have eventually either fixed it or had somebody else fix it. But to have this back in my hands feels really, really awesome. And to know I didn't have to spend much money on it is really, really awesome. And I've been playing Sonic the Hedgehog and NHL Hockey and Philios, and you know, I'll have to show you everything I got in another video. But man, Sega Genesis, happy birthday, 36 years ago. We're all old. Now, if you're younger and watch this video, maybe you're not old, but if you played this console originally, the way it was meant to be played, you're old. This was the funnest time, the 16-bit era, and I played other things, but Sega Genesis was like the one. I was definitely a Genesis fan, and most games I'd prefer on Genesis. There are a few I'd prefer on Super Nintendo, but, you know, Sega does what Nintendo don't. Did you have a Sega Genesis? What are your memories of the Sega Genesis? Put your comments in the comments down below. What do you think I should do to clean this? What do you think will work? I just want to make it look really good, because I think it's in pretty good shape, other than that it needs cleaned. And I'm so glad it worked. God, I'm so lucky. So lucky. I'm so blessed. Let me know. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget about Electronic Gaming Monthly. And if you don't have a Sega Genesis, buy a Sega Genesis. Go on eBay. Go to the thrift store, find one, get one, enjoy Sega Genesis, because it's a good one.